Episode 16, Microbes and Hay Fever.
Welcome to Thriving with Nature, a podcast that gives you the tools you need to live a modern lifestyle that helps regenerate our planet. And now your host, Hayley Weatherburn.
Hello Thrivers, it's Hayley here. Welcome back to the podcast. This week I want to talk to you about microbes, and I want to share about some little adventures I've been going on in regards to down the Alice's rabbit hole of microbes and gut microbes. So I want to share, for me, I currently have an allergy to what I believe is rice. I live in Bali, and when the rice fields near me start to have rice, in the final 2-3 weeks, I get insanely itchy eyes and sneezy, and I've never really had much of hay fever before. I have had little spouts of it, but in regards to the level of hay fever I get at the moment, it's a bit insane. But what's interesting is where I live next door to a rice field, and it hasn't been since this particular rice pollination or seeding that the hay fever got bad again. And I've been here, I think, for 2 other rice seedings in this particular house and haven't had it as bad. Now, what's interesting is this particular seeding has aligned very well with my birthday, and I chose to, for my birthday, eat a lot more wheat and sugary products. You know, some gluten-free brownies, some vegan pizza, some vegan donuts, and normally I don't eat wheat or flour or too much sugar. I haven't been in the last probably 4 to 6 months. Yet I decided to go all in and celebrate properly, and I ended up getting my hay fever symptoms quite severely. And so one of the things I've been watching quite a few interesting talks on the gut microbiome, a documentary called Gut Feeling, a part 1, part 2. If you go to my YouTube, Thriving with Nature, you'll see under the playlists, the gut health playlist, you'll see some of these YouTube videos which are really fascinating. And one of the things it talks about is depending on what you're feeding your different microbes will respond. And so I feel the ones that I'm feeding at the moment that love the sugar and love the wheat products, I think it's a combination of both, I feel has a detrimental effect to the allergens that it's causing this effect. And so as of today, I will be stopping. My birthday was yesterday, and I am going to get back onto my normal regime. But that brings me to a couple of hypotheses in my brain that are happening. And because, as some of you have heard me read from the Anastasia book in one of the podcasts about the living supplement garden, I believe that we can grow a garden that reads our body and what's missing. And I don't think it's just the nutrients. I think it's also reading our microbes and what may be missing there and what do we need. And so I've been contemplating here about growing. This isn't part of the living supplement garden, but growing, or maybe I do put a little bit, growing some rice, so that I can be exposed to the microbes that are in the soil around the rice. You see, the rice field next to me also, they do spray chemicals. And I used to feel that maybe it was the chemicals, but it's always around the seeding of the rice. So I feel it is the rice pollen, we'll call it, or rice particles that's causing this, because I didn't see them spray severely enough for me to relate it to that. So yes, the theory is Because what you can do, there's an organisation, and it's in actually the TED Talk as well as the Gut Feeling documentary that I have saved on my playlist in YouTube, where you can actually send us a sample, a fecal sample, and they can measure what microbes you have. And it's fascinating stuff. The comparison of the Western society and Western diet these days compared to, they've got the most traditional, and I'm not going to remember the tribal name that's in Africa, where they're having the usual hunter-gatherer diet. They eat a tiny bit of meat. They're gathering tubers and roots and berries and, they're eating a whole lot of fibre. In fact, something like 4 to 10 times more than the normal standard American diet. And they're gut microbes, whereas in the Western society, they have about 1,000 different varieties. These ancient hunter-gatherers that are existing today have something like 3,000 to 4,000 different biodiverse microbes, and therefore much more balanced, much healthier. And so I find that fascinating. That's the one thing they said is fibre. Eat more fibre, more salads, more fruits and vegetables. That helps increase your microbes. And so, I believe I would like to grow some rice in my own beautiful, rich, nutrient-rich soil. I think I might build a grain raised bed where I maybe grow a little bit of wheat, a little bit of rice, and maybe a couple of other grains, a bit of a biodiverse grain box, we'll call it, so that I can have my hands in the soil and be exposed to the microbes closely that potentially will help in the long run with my allergens. Because I feel that there's just something missing. There's a microbe that I need in my system that can help normally fight this. Because if you read about hay fevers, it's where the body mistakes this pollen as the enemy and it goes into an alerted state to try and get rid of it. And that's why, your eyes and your nose and all that goes puffy. So microbes are just something that you may not know is that the weight of microbes, like our microbiome, the weight of them is the same weight of our brain in our body. That's how many there are. I believe, and I have to double check on these numbers, I think it's 10 to 1. For every one, now I don't think it's the cell, I'd have to double check this, I think it's every one cell there's 10 microbes. Yeah, I'll have to double check that. But there are a lot of microbes, and the microbes are responsible for our immune system. They protect us from everything. And so the more biodiverse your microbiome is, the more healthy you are. And one of the things that they talked about is the fact that a lot of people don't even have their feet in the soil. They don't see nature. They're sitting in a cubicle and you're only sort of sharing the microbes with your fellow humans. Whereas what you want to do is you want to be experiencing lots of different microbes. And if you're not having fruit and vegetables, you're not getting them from there either, especially if it's from a monocrop or, that's been chemically drowned in, where it killed off the microbial life in the soil. So that is why a lot of people are getting super hyperallergenic. Is that the word, allergenic? Why people are getting sick. And so bringing in this living supplement garden, which I have the wood ready to build, everyone, which is super exciting. And I will be doing some YouTube videos. I'm actually starting something. I don't want to say it yet because I'm not quite ready. So you can get involved and start to build your own and join me on this journey of rebuilding my own living biome through a garden that will read my body. And ultimately, hopefully, I truly believe the body's just saying, hey, you're missing something. That's why you're getting these crazy allergenic responses. Hypoallergenic, I don't know the difference. Hypo. Yeah. So that is the conversation. This is the rabbit hole I'm diving down. There's a couple of books I'm reading at the moment. Eat Dirt by Dr. Josh Axe. I'm also about to embark on a book that I've really wanted to read for a long time called The Hidden Half of Nature, which is the connection of soil microbes and gut microbes, which is super exciting for me. And I'm going to be sharing this along the way. I'm hoping to have some of these authors experts, especially microbiome experts. If you know of some amazing ones that you'd love to hear from that I could interview, let me know in the show notes. So that is the conversation at the moment. How is your biodiversity? Are you getting out there and touching plants? Because the microbes are on the leaves of the plants. This is if no one's been spraying them, of course. I love getting my hands into the worm farm because that is like a haven for beautiful, fresh, amazing microbes. And I'm excited. At the moment, I've got my worm compost tea brewing. So I've pulled some of the beautiful castings that have a lot of microbial activity and put it into a bubbling, aerating water with a bit of the leachate. And I'm building up some microbes inside that over the next 24 hours so that I can spray that onto my garden to bring some more nutrients from the leachate and the microbes from the compost, which is very exciting. That is one of the ways that I am helping to increase my microbes in my plants and on myself, getting my hands dirty, getting the dirt under the soil, dirt under the fingers. So there you go. Join me on this down the rabbit hole of microbes to learn more at how we can thrive, get back to thriving with nature on such a micro and macro level. It's very exciting. I find it fascinating. I don't know as much as I wish I could, but we're going to be getting on this journey. And wishing you all a fabulous week. And I look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye.
Hey, if you enjoyed listening to my podcast, remember to subscribe to hear more. You also have to come check out the Thriving with Nature website, where all of my videos, podcasts, and resources are to take what we discuss here to the next level and apply it in real life. I'd love to have you come join myself and many others striving towards living a regenerative lifestyle. Go to thrivingwithnature.com.